I still remember the first day I walked into that office. The air smelled like fresh coffee and expensive cologne. And then, there he was. Daniel. My boss. Confident. Cold. Perfectly put together. He didn't need to say a word. His presence filled the room before his voice did. When he finally spoke, it was deep, calm, and impossible to ignore. Welcome to the team, Madison. My name sounded different when he said it, like a secret, waiting to be kept. At first, I told myself it was just admiration. He was successful, disciplined, and touchable. The kind of man who never let emotions interfere with business. But sometimes his eyes lingered. And mine did too. Late nights turned into quiet conversations. Coffee breaks turned into stolen moments. And every time our hands brushed, it felt like something electric. Something we both pretended not to feel. He never crossed the line. But he also never stepped away from it. One evening, the office was empty. Everyone had gone home. The rain outside was tapping against the windows like a heartbeat. I was working late, again, when he walked into my office. "You're still here," he said softly. "Someone has to keep the place running," I smelled. He stood by the door for a moment. Then he walked closer and closer until I could smell his cologne, warm, dark, intoxicating. "You work too hard, Madison," I laughed quietly. "That's what you pay me for," he smiled, the kind of smile that makes your knees forget how to stand. "That's not all I see when I look at you." My heart stopped. I didn't know what to say, and he didn't need me to. The silence between us was louder than words. Dangerous. Addictive. And in that moment, we both knew. We were standing at the edge of something we shouldn't want, but couldn't ignore. For weeks, we danced around it. Meetings turned into glances. Every good morning carried an unspoken "I miss you." One night, he drove me home after a late project. The car was silent, except for the sound of rain again. It always seemed to rain when he was near. When he stopped in front of my apartment, I whispered, "You don't have to walk me in." He turned his head, eyes dark, voice low. "I know," but he didn't move. He just looked at me, and in that look, I felt everything I'd been trying to hide. The desire. The fear. The line we were both about to cross. I wanted to say something, but he leaned forward first, close enough for me to feel his breath, but far enough to make me wonder if he'd stop. And then, he did stop. He pulled back, exhaled, and whispered, "Good night, Madison." Then he left. That night, I didn't sleep. Because for the first time, I realized something terrifying. He wasn't just my boss anymore. He was the man I couldn't stop thinking about. Weeks passed. We tried to go back to normal. Emails, meetings, deadlines. But nothing felt normal anymore. Every look, every touch, every word, it all meant something now. And then one morning, everything changed. I walked into the office to find everyone whispering. Eyes followed me. My heart sank before I even knew why. Someone had seen us. Someone had taken pictures that night in the car. They didn't show a kiss, just the way he looked at me, and the way I looked back. But it was enough. He called me into his office. His jaw was tight. His eyes were tired. "They want an explanation," he said quietly. "Tell me what to do," I whispered. He looked at me for a long time, then said, "Walk away." I froze. "What? If you stay, they'll destroy your career." And mine. The words hit harder than I expected. Because it wasn't just my job I was losing, it was him. I wanted to argue. To fight. To tell him I didn't care what people thought. But I did care. And so did he. So I stood up, nodded, and whispered, "Goodbye, Daniel." He didn't stop me this time. He just looked down. It's been a year now. I work somewhere else. Different office. Different life. But sometimes, late at night, when it rains, I still remember that look. That unspoken story that started and ended in silence. And if you're wondering, no, I don't regret it. Because sometimes, the most powerful connections aren't the ones that last forever, they're the ones that almost did.